That goes to say too, if you're watching this video, you aren't cooked.
Thing where
That's
it's
so
like
true.
AI is moving really fast, and if you don't love this game, you're just going to be left behind. And once you're left behind, no one's hiring
If
you.
your company has previously laid off people, you're cooked.
What do you mean?
To keep up with AI, you have to be unemployed. To pay for API credits, you need a job.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I actually got into content too, because I just got tired of seeing people lie about things that I know. Like they aren't even technical. And
You know,
lying to people.
the
Welcome to today's episode at Technology Talks, your one place where we break down the latest trends in technology and finance, where we dissect AI and economic strategy. Thank you for tuning in. We are your hosts, Elvis and Explicit.
Hello, I'm Explicit, the founder of Linux, an AI tutor that personalizes your educational material according to your interests. If you're into basketball, teaches you using that, whatever your interests are. Yeah, go try Linux at len-x.co. Yeah.
Yes, and my name is Elvis Kimara. I'm the founder of Thoroughly, the first agentic bartering platform that allows cashless exchange of goods and services. Basically, the next Facebook marketplace where everything from search, negotiation, payment, and delivery is handled by agents/AI. And I have over 2 years of experience as an AI researcher, and Explicit has experience in finance. So we're the right audience to be talking about this. Thank you.
Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about how AI is affecting software jobs, with the major highlight being are software engineers cooked?
Some quick background into how we came about this topic. You know, Explicit, for the last week, I've heard you say at least 2 times that software engineers are cooked. And every time I look at you, you have that grin in your face. You know, previous podcast, we had Gopa, a software engineer here, and you were like, I don't want to be brutal, but software engineers are cooked. And so I'm here to make you explain yourself on camera.
If I said it 2 times this week, then it's the week that I least said it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The whole software job has been changing because of how AI has came into place, right? Um, Getting into some context, there's AI coding tools, Kesa, Claude Code, anti-gravity, which I barely use, and Windsurf, which is almost dead.
Bolt.
What? Boat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then there's like Boat, there's Replit, there's Lovable, there's v0.dev. So all these coding tools have become so good, right? I'd say most developers are using Kesa and Claude Code, and most non-developers are using the rest of the tools, which are both Lovable and the others. So the way software engineering was structured in the past was most of like the junior developers were mostly focusing on code, which is no longer a mod. You yourself even told me one of these days that coding is no longer a mod anymore.
It's not.
Coding at this point, you even sent me that coding at some point will be like just like buying pizza.
I did.
So that's the kind of future we have, especially as they get more great at coding. We have seen them improve over time. KSR Cloud Code are always pushing for updates, which is really great. So that's how I see the future looking like. What are your thoughts and opinions?
There is some truth to that. To give more context on the pizza analogy, this was from the CEO of Stripe. He was saying in the near future, every software will be custom made, and it'll be like ordering a pizza, where you wait 25 minutes, you give all the ingredients you want, and then you get a customized software for your application for every business. The thing I liked about it was of course, the customization, but also the 25-minute wait. I think that's very uh, that's very realistic,
Yeah.
which is scary because at first, previously, I thought about generative UX, which was like on demand or like real time, but that's crazy. But the pizza analogy makes sense, and I do see a future where that's the case. So yeah, very scary.
Well, that's actually fascinating. I think the levels of personalization that will be available in the future will just be crazy. And I, this is so hypothetical.
Mm.
I see a future where it's like you might even have like let's say if you're not a if you're not a developer and you request for a feature or something like that from a company, I see it them finding a model where they can do like user by user features. You know how like right now you can even access an application and have like levels of restrictions,
Yeah.
such as like admin. And if you're not admin, you can see some things. Maybe we're going to have like a model where it's like for this specific user, they can access this in this way. I don't know, but it's actually interesting in terms of that customization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But looking more into this whole is software engineering is it dead or is it not, right? And this also attaches to like computer science, most of the computer science jobs as well. One thing that I've noticed is that most people still are clinging onto them because they are mostly not looking into these tools or using them intensively, and they're not really checking like the news about like how companies are really moving forward. One of the fascinating things that I saw recently in the past week was how Cloudflare rewrote Next.js.
Yep. Yep.
You can make that up. There are times where we have discussed on like how right now it's tricky to know if software jobs are really being replaced, right? Or they are not. Or are companies using the AI notion to now just like cut down people because of like previous overemployment from after the COVID pandemic? Because we know around 2022, 2023, there was like overhiring, right?
True.
So companies might be speculating on some of these statistics, right?
Mm.
But writing Next.js in 1 week by one person, you can just make that up.
True. True.
And it renders way faster. I think 40% faster than the previous Next.js.
Is there a name for it? This new Next.js?
Oh, I think they are replacing the old one
Oh.
because it's the same. Right now they gave like developers from like V0 and other developers. I think it's like open source because Next.js was open source, right?
Yeah.
So they're allowing everyone to do like tests to see if like
Vercel.
there are critical issues around there, and people have been finding like about 3, 4, 5 critical issues, which is really great if it's like 1 week.
Sure, it's just 4.
No, in terms of critical, there were 3 critical.
Mm.
3 critical. This was like by Vercel. I think they found like 3 critical errors. Then 2 warning level like errors or bugs. And I think they are on to fixing those. So
I can't really speak much to it. I've never really liked Next.js personally, but yeah.
you introduced me to Next.js.
True. I just like plain React.
Nice.
This question of are software engineers cooked?
Yeah.
Is very similar to is SaaS dead? Because these two go hand in hand. We'll get deeper into that, but yeah, for our software engineers cooked, I think there's some that are cooked and some that aren't cooked.
That's true.
Yeah. I came with a list of the ones that are cooked.
Oh, Elvis.
Yes. So, for the software engineers that are cooked, the people who are doing it for money, who got into software engineering just to make money, they didn't really like software engineering,
Yeah.
Those are cooked. Uh, the people who are doing CS, but they don't know how to code and they hate coding.
Okay.
Very similar to those who got in for money.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who are seniors in college
Mm-hmm.
who don't know how to program, but
Yeah.
they're doing software engineering and they made it till the very end. And why are you doing this, bro?
No, that's true. I think going back to both of the points that you made, right? I think we have to kind of give a background or how things are going in terms of like the tools that are there right now. It's more of a thing where it's like AI is moving really fast, and if you don't love this game, you're just going to be left behind. And once you're left behind, no one is hiring you.
True.
Yeah, so if you're just in there for the money, it's going to be difficult for you to put in all the effort that you actually need to put in. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Number 3 on the list, Denialists. This is normally people with 20, 30 years of experience. Some of them on Reddit are always complaining and they're saying how it's not good, they don't want to adapt. Yeah, those ones are going to be wiped out really quick.
Funny thing is, I was aligned to that view that it was mostly the senior devs, right? But as of late, through having conversations to multiple people, I've noticed even some people who are in school who have the chance to actually start getting on these tools to start using them, they're still skeptical about where AI is at this day and moment. But I don't think it's hard to get where AI is because it's a matter of just like looking up what's happening and opening the terminal and typing Claude. Then you are already you're already cooking with others.
Yeah. Number 4 on the list, people who are clueless about everything that's happening in the AI field. I normally see people in the industry, some of my friends, who they just don't keep up with the AI news and they're just focused on their job and they're doing software engineering, but they don't care about AI news. And it's crazy because it affects you. How can you not be bothered about it?
It reminds me 2 tweets that I saw last week. One tweet was like, oh, they were connected tweets. I think one of them was like a quoted on the other tweet. The first one was like, to keep up with AI, you have to be unemployed. Because this thing is really moving fast, to be honest. And someone quoted tweet and it was like, to pay for API credits, you need a job. So it's a tough word. It's a tough word.
People who think they're safe can't be touched by AI. I have a few friends like that. They always be like, AI is your problem, Elvis. For me, I'm a laboratory specialist. I work with test tubes. AI won't come for my job, which there is some truth to it, but also just give it a few more years. AI is slowly coming for jobs, so no one is really safe.
Yeah, I think others who are not like specializing in CS or SE are kind of at a better position in terms of like they still have much time to repent and join the AI movement. But if you're in CS and software engineering, you don't have time. Get on that Claude Code, get on that Kesa, actually be able to know them. And I think the most important thing is understanding like the whole architecture of like different systems so that you're able to orchestrate the agents.
Orchestrate, yeah. You love that word. We have freshmen in college. CS majors CS majors that are freshmen in college. I think they're cooked.
That's a tricky one. I think it depends on how fast they're willing to adapt to AI and knowing the difference between what they should be learning and what's being used in the world. Because like our curriculums for CS in most schools haven't changed, right? But the whole computer science or computer field has changed vastly. So if you are a freshman
Mm.
and you keep up with the news, we keep up with how AI is moving, I think you'll be fine because like going into the future, we're going to have a lot of because like despite like software engineering being cooked, right? We still have some new roles that are being opened up, especially in AI infrastructure. So if you're in AI infrastructure, there's a lot of openings, and that's where most people would be moving to. So if you understand the systems and kind of redirection towards those places, you'll be fine. And we still need those like couple like people who would be acting as like maybe product managers that does the code. Because right now, product people who are usually product managers, right, and understood like the architecture of the software at a company are the ones that are now getting into code, and they are like the ideal coder that we have like in today because you understand the architecture of the platform. And so if you just train your mind to be towards that, then you'll be fine. And you, especially if you love it, as you mentioned, that if you don't love it, you don't want to get into all that work. So
That's a very crazy answer. I'm actually surprised that you'd say that. 'Cause you're the one saying SE is cooked, and I'm kind of the optimist. But I think for sure a freshman.
no, so I think like it's a matter of like previously we needed okay, this is hypothetical, I don't know the numbers, right? But let's say we needed 100,000 software developers, right? Or software engineers. Because now we want people who have that higher level of knowledge, we're just going to cut that by maybe 80%. We're going to be left with like the 20%. So there's still going to be the need of like software engineers, but just a few of them.
Not the freshman. No. Why I say this, right? Not to go off on someone, but that's a freshman. You know, even before AI, you know, people like Peter Thiel and other billionaires always believed dropping out of college was the right thing to do. You know, Mark Zuckerberg did that. And that was kind of like if you were doing something serious, you had to drop out of college.
Yeah, if you're
You
doing
know,
something serious, yeah.
before
Definitely
AI.
agreed.
Yeah. So, and now with AI, just on the tuition cost, right? And the 4 year commitment, if you're into CS because you wanted to learn and build technology that's revolutionary, you already have all the tools you need. Where else would you be in school when you can orchestrate this by yourself?
Oh no. On that one, I definitely agree. You know, going to school is redundant because because like most of the times, if you're really interested, okay, it depends on the level of like interest in a subject that you're doing. If you're really interested and if you have somewhat a direction of what you want to do, right? Most of the times, going to school is redundant because like you do some things in school and then you have to work outside school to develop the skills that you actually need.
Sure.
So some of the skills you have to work on them like 2 times and learn them like 2 times, and there's a lot of time wastage. And sometimes it's not aligned to what you want to do at the end of the day, because like as we were mentioning, CS degrees, software engineering degrees, most of the things that are taught, even in finance, right? Most of the things that are taught in school, you'll be retaught at a workplace, or you teach yourself to be at a position you are. So the school part, definitely redundant. But if you're like someone who's like in school because you have to be in school at that point, I like what Elon Musk says about like the only reason that you can go to college for is to just like meet people of your age, have fun, you know, things like that. So, but if you're a CS student, right, and you're passionate and you're going through this redundant process, you have to work outside school as well to be caught up. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned finance bros, because I know we're focused on CS majors being cooked, but I also wanted to mention other majors too that are cooked. In my list there, I had psychology majors. Not to come at them, but it was just, again, you could argue that before AI, certain majors were cooked, right? And now, post AI, you could just say that they're even more cooked, basically, right? And I guess not to say some majors are bad, but you know, there's a lot of information out there that says certain majors aren't good, and they give the reason why. Like, let's say I've seen a lot of content saying why psychology is not a good major. I went to a hospital once, and my nurse, she was telling me how she did psychology and she's 100K in debt and she regrets it. And the entire time she was taking my blood, she was complaining about psychology as a major, right? And then in the end of the conversation, her daughter comes into the conversation, and then she ends by saying, "Oh, my daughter's doing psychology as well." And then I'm like, "Woman, really, really, you made your daughter do psychology too?" After complaining, right? And so I just feel like they're cooked only because if you're the person that's learning and seeing what's out there and you're competing, right? At some point, maybe in your sophomore year, you should have come across information to then allow you to switch majors to something that maybe could better position yourself. I feel like being a junior in psychology, you haven't put yourself in a place to learn and know that you're not heading in the right direction. So that's why you're cooked.
No, you made very great points, but I think one of the things that I've seen that are scary is like sometimes you find this, you come from college, right? And you're like, I want to do this. And maybe at that point, you're so passionate about it, right? Then you dig down and you find that information, right? Because there are always going to be good friends like me. If you're doing something useless, I'll definitely send you a video. Or I might even record by myself a 20-minute video telling you why it's bad. I think some people have said I'm rude for doing that, but that's just reality. It's me being helpful to the society. But after finding all of that, some people are really afraid of making changes at the last minute. But it's not scary. I did it. I did it. I was doing finance for about 3 years, and I saw the future that okay, this wasn't going to position me at a place that I actually want. And looking into the future, we're just going to automate everything that's there.
Cloud for Excel.
Cloud for Excel. So switch to computer engineering, which was a really tough decision to make. And I'm not saying that there isn't a constraint in resources, because like changing at that point, you also calculate the costs that are never coming back from the previous major as well. But sometimes when you look at the future, you might say, oh, this might be worth it at the end of the day. But it's a tough situation.
And you're killing it. Next on the list, people going to grad school without reflecting on how AI might impact the career or major they're choosing. You know, with AI having a high effect on the economy and jobs, grad school is looking like a very nice option for a lot of young people. But they should think about if their choice is AI proof, and a lot of them aren't. In fact, I saw a post on someone's story who's doing psychology, and they were like, you know what? A master's in psychology is the way to go.
Elvis, you really don't like psychology.
Yeah. And then, okay, that's halfway through the list, but moving on. People that insist on being a product manager. I know people who love technology, right?
Yeah.
And before AI, they enjoyed leading teams, telling people what to do. Now with AI, they tell me, well, Elvis, I enjoy leading teams and instructing people, and I'm always telling them that world is
Yeah.
gone. You know, you have to be the product manager that codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how I've seen more CEOs coming back to the code base because of these tools, which is really interesting because sometimes it's a matter of being a visionary at this point, right? And a vision is really hard to pass to the next person.
True.
I think that is one of the reasons why some CEOs have come back to the code base, test these tools out, see how they can improve their companies. And I think PMs, not really necessary. Most of PM, if you cannot code, at some point you're not necessary.
make the transition, and also goes to my next one. People who are in halfway, they're doing mechanical engineering or finance, and they say they love tech, and they want to maybe to start a tech startup in the next 5 years. They one foot is in this, one foot is in another, or because they did something like aerospace or mechanical, they want to get a best friend who did software engineering to then do the software engineering for them. So they're unadjacent to the programmer. They don't want to be the programmer, but in today's world, you have to be the visionary and the executor as well.
That one might be tricky
No,
because
I just think it's so competitive out there. Like the stakes are so high and the margins are so minimal. And if you're just not all in, you're gonna be out. Your competition is yeah.
no, but okay. I think like look at this. You are in aerospace, right? And I am in software, right? And I'm a cricket software, and you are very good in aerospace. I think we'll make good systems for aviation.
True.
I think it's a good combination.
True.
Yeah. You know who I think is cooked?
Who?
Non-technical people who want to be non-technical founders, and they want to bring technical founders and throw in 50-50.
Oh.
I saw Gopa, one of the people that we invited in our last podcast, post something like that on LinkedIn, which was really interesting. And they were saying that you are not technical and you just want to say you want to do marketing and you want me to be making the whole product, and you can't even go on Lovable and make maybe a simple prototype, then it's going to be difficult working with you.
Yeah, that's actually very insightful.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna change a lot in the future.
Yeah, it's going to change a lot, yeah.
On the list, people with no social skills that are in tech. This one sounds harsh, but before AI, there's always this stereotype of people that are very, very smart, but very hard to work with, right? They couldn't be part of a team, and yet engineering requires a lot of teamwork. They were the type to rewrite the entire code base, delete everyone's work, and put their work, right? So they're very hard to work with. And so, yeah, in the world of AI, when everyone can code and do the most complex algorithms, they're going to be the ones that are kicked out.
No, that's true. You know, the way I see that one is that looking at how companies are hiring at the moment, right? They're kind of hiring people with already existing number of followers, right? Because marketing has become the mode. They're kind of hiring people who want to talk to people. So if you don't have social skills, that's where it would rightfully pin you down, because like at some point you'd be hired because of your technical skills about writing code.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's no longer mod. So you writing code, they don't even, most companies in the future won't even want someone who says, I can write Java.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can write Java? Claude can write Java.
The hottest job right now is a forward deployed engineer,
Mm.
which is someone that they send to a company to study their operations and think how they can execute AI into their workflows. So that's a lot of social skills needed.
That's true.
Yeah. People that aren't in an infra SaaS company. I was talking to a mutual friend yesterday, Gerald, and he was telling me how he has an interview at BMW.
Okay,
as a
nice.
software engineer, and I was thinking, wow, that's such a good company, because people are always gonna buy cars. It's
Mhm.
not purely a SaaS company like Workiva that's building like some complicated Excel sheet that might have to downsize
Okay.
because they're predominantly SaaS. So I think companies like that, Toyota, Caterpillar, that sell something physical but then still need software, they won't really wiped out fully.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
That's where the few developers that will be left will be working.
Yeah.
And probably those companies right now, they have someone who even works on like the simplest thing, and they are going to be thrown out, and they're leaving like a few developers in the future
Yeah,
when code becomes really easier to make. Yeah.
true. Next on the list of software engineers that are cooked, we have if your company IPO'd and it's predominantly software.
Okay, that one is a tough one.
You don't agree?
No, I do agree for most parts of it, right? But like some companies have like a couple years at least to adapt, right? Let's say you are Adobe, right? If Claude releases a tool that actually edits my video, like it's Premiere, for a moment, maybe the stock market might be attacked, but like if Claude in the next couple of months kind of, if Adobe adapts really fast, I think it will retain most users just based on like, non-tech people who are in like marketing, right, would continue to want to use like Adobe, which they're used to.
Yeah.
So it also comes to the network effects and existing customer base and things like that. But if they don't adapt,
When I put that on the list, I was mostly focusing on CEOs that are trying to reduce operational costs, laying
Okay.
off people and then pumping up the profits,
Yep.
stock price. If your company has previously laid off people, you're cooked.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Start saving up money.
If you have laid off people.
If you survived the previous layoff at your company.
Oh, like at Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a tricky one.
It's not tricky. This one is not tricky.
No, remember that at some point we will leave a few developers in these companies. Not as much as they are. I know like Amazon probably is coming with another slash of I don't know how many employees, but I know that within the next quarter, they're going to slash more people.
How about Block?
Block recently slashed about 40% of their company. And I think it will take some time till they cut off some more people if they are to. And it also requires these tools to improve. And
True.
because they also have like a large portfolio as we were looking into Cash App, then these other companies that they have as well.
Yeah. The next round of cooked software engineers, those working at an undifferentiated startup. So you're doing something that's like 500 of you doing the exact same thing. You're building a to-do list or a note-taking software, calorie tracker. Yeah, those ones are cooked. Nothing much to say there.
But the world is so funny. I saw there was this other company,
How?
Cow AI. Was it Cow AI?
That what got acquired?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the biggest one of all the ones in a similar category. That was the biggest one.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of luck.
I think they were the first to put like an AI to just take a picture of your food and then spit out calories.
Okay.
So, and then those had a very strong go-to-market, heavy on UGC.
Nice.
So, yeah. Your startup landing page is generic. Looks like AI slop. Someone can just tell you used AI, and you've been working on it for more than 6 months and haven't changed it. It just means you haven't been getting feedback and iterating fast, so you're cooked.
Yeah, and I think at this point where agents can code very nicely, even the UIs, you shouldn't have something that looks like slop at this point.
Yeah. You're not in for the long run, like working at a startup.
Yeah.
Cooked. You're building a very complex project, and there's just too many features and integrations. At some point, you have 100 integrations. That's probably a sign you're cooked.
Yeah, to some level. I think it depends, right? Because I'm thinking of like how many integrations would these like AI native tools will have. Probably ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini want to integrate with everything so that they have that central data. I think if like someone has like a similar model, as long as it's like super useful, like how like these AI native companies are doing it, maybe. But I do get it from a startup point where it's like if you're having a lot of integrations, most of the times it's because you're not working on anything that's really solid.
Yeah, and you don't have product market fit. If you're lying about ARR or MRR, you're the one on TikTok telling people how your fitness app is giving you 40K per month. You're cooked.
Oh, that was already cooked. If you already start lying, you are cooked. People who are lying are already cooked.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I actually got into content too, because I just got tired of seeing people lie about things that I know. Like they aren't even technical, and
You
just
know,
lying to people.
the non-technical people, most of the times they buy in these things, which is really sad, and I just hate that technical people do this to non-technical people.
Yeah. If you're a React developer or purely front end developer, and you haven't made some pivot into AI, you're cooked.
What about if you're just a backend developer? What are your opinions? Because the way I see it, right, it's like we are going to a future where you have to understand both front end and back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to just understand. You have to be a full developer.
Sure, full stack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tricky. But if you haven't made a transition into AI, yeah, you're cooked.
That's true.
Like
That's
you
true.
said, Java, if you're just purely Java developer, you're cooked.
Mhm.
And then lastly, I got this idea as we were coming here. I had one of the students talk about how they're using a $600 computer, and if they were to get a good computer, it would cost them like $2,000, and they don't want to make that switch. And I added that to my list, and I think it's cooked. Again, the margins are so thin, right? In a very competitive field, everyone's trying to be, the startup founder that wins it. The margins are so thin. The person that has a MacBook Pro that's running 30 tabs with 30 different agents is running laps around you when you turn on your computer and then it's 5 minutes for it to boot up. You can't even run an AI on it. Yeah, I think.
No, that's true. That's true. If you're not willing and if you're not able to put in like a little bit of like some capital into adapting to this, and you want to be a founder, you might slightly be behind. Better start trying to raise.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this too, because we're talking about editing our videos and how our good laptops right now aren't even doing a good job when it comes to storage, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so the person that's on a $400 computer isn't editing any videos, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't even think about it. When you're that low, even such things don't come to your mind to like work on, right?
That's true. Uh-huh.
And yeah,
No, that's actually a fascinating one. I think it leads to one of the topics that we'll talk about in one of our next podcasts, where we see how companies like Apple, HP are going to adapt into maybe low-cost machines that are powerful to even maybe run models. I know Apple just released like the MacBook M5, the whole line from the Air to the Pro. I haven't really checked much into it, but I've just heard people talking about how they might be built to be able to run like some AI models, really nice. And I also saw that Quen released like Quen 3.5, which is kind of efficient to run even on an M4 chip. So let's see how this all goes, and we'll probably talk more about that in one of our next episodes.
true. And also last week when we were talking about Peter Steinberg and the OpenClaw story, and I was telling you explicit that I pay $20 a month for Cursor, And but my competition, Peter Steinberg, he was spending 20K,
Yeah.
right? He was burning AI tokens like no one's business, you know? And our competition, they're probably using a 200 Claude Max plan, and they're finishing their tokens per day, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of them things where it's like at this point, just get onto that terminal, open either Claude Code. If you're a non-developer, open Lovable, open V0, open any Replit. Just try those tools out, make them use. You can even make slides. You can even make Excel sheets, like literally anything in that Cloud Code. Bruh, like anything is literally possible. I don't know if you've seen the story. I think you even mentioned it as well. The story of someone who recently who had like they had a wedding, right? And they got some pictures, and the card that had the pictures was corrupted. Then they connect that card to their laptop, and then they were finding ways to recover it using Cloud Code. And they said Cloud Code went for like 2-3 hours finding solutions and playing around with FFmpeg to see how they would recover it, and did it.
Wow, nice.
You know, back in the day, if your wedding pictures were corrupted, just know it's gone, bro. And probably your wife is going to box you.
It's crazy. Yeah, and so then moving on to the software engineers that aren't cooked. It's a short list. The ones that touch grass.
Wait, why is this one a short list when the ones which were cooked were a big list? Yeah.
The ones that touch grass, the ones that go outside and actually talk to people that aren't software engineers. We're talking about how we are in the AI hype, and every day we talk about AI, and we even forget the non-technical people and maybe the daily problems that they face, that are opportunities that could be solved by us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because right now, software engineers, CS majors who are using AI, they're mostly fixing software or computer-related issues because they spend most of their times on a computer. So they are not really looking into like what the rest of the world actually needs. Of course, there are people who are looking into that, but I think not as much as we are looking into like the CS and SE related problems. Yeah.
Yeah. CS majors with social skills, they'll be the ones that LinkedIn Max, you know, go viral, be the go-to-market strategist at a startup, the forward deployed engineer, have a strong personal brand. And I think they're the ones that are going to get new jobs because they'll be more visible in a world where the labor market is shrinking. Then next is CS majors that have a plan or strategy for how to make it through the next 3-4 years. I think a bad plan is better than no plan. Again, people who aren't thinking about how they're going to make it out of this are just clueless and they aren't thinking about the future. And so that's why they're cooked. But if you have a plan and maybe you've done something as simple as go to Claude and ask, hey, is my job safe in the next 4 years based off what you know about me? I've seen guys do that. That's a very good place to start. So, yeah. CS majors that are doing AI research, working at a startup, or working at an infra SaaS company. Those ones are in a good spot.
Yeah. And I think spotting on to research, if you see like these AI native labs, most of them kind of hire people who are into research. I think there's still a lot to discover about like these AI models. Right now, we still have AI models that are just like a prediction of the next token, and we still need people to really dig deep into like the underneath of these AI models and how we can actually improve them for people, which is mostly research at the end of the day.
Yes.
So research in engineering, yeah.
Yes. Next, CS majors that are upskilling or pivoting and doing things like hardware, for instance, or just learning AI You've done React before, but now you're an AI expert and learning how transformers work. Yeah, those ones are safe. CS majors with taste.
Taste. Taste is the next big thing. No, taste is actually the next big thing because if you don't have taste, it's going to be difficult for you going on forward. Almost everything, UX design, making even new products and everything. It's now about taste because like code is like 80% solved.
Yep.
So now it's about do
Yep.
people vibe with your taste
Yep.
at the end of the day?
Next, CS majors that understand the product or understand the problem, down to the deepest level.
Yeah, because we had CS majors who were writing a for loop, and they didn't know what that for loop were because like some received like the barest of like instructions and didn't know much about like what was going on with the whole architecture about like any products. Yeah.
Or even understanding the business. I know a lot of CS majors that they just do for loops. They don't understand where their market is heading for their company, so they don't even know if they're cooked or not.
Yep.
For instance, if you're a CS major working at a tech consulting company, right, you should be thinking about what happens when your clients have their own Claude Code plan. So thinking about the business, right? If you're stressed and you're a CS major, that's probably a good sign because that means you're thinking and you're strategizing on how to move forward in this very transformational time. That goes to say too, if you're watching this video, you aren't cooked.
That's so true. That's so true. Because after all this information, tell me you're just going to keep up with the same habits that are going to get you cooked.
If you're solving a problem, right? If you're working at a startup that's solving a real problem and you're also in for the long run, then you're safe.
Agreed.
Very understandable. And then if you're working on something that's new or undifferentiated or differentiated, that's also a very good sign. So good place to be. Yeah. That was the list, yeah.
Now that was a wonderful list. Adding one more thing to the list. If you are an SC or a computer science student, or not even along these majors, but if you are really good at communicating, you are at a nice position. If you have a lot of like already people who follow you on social medias, you are also at a good position. Yeah. That was my list.
Yeah, so that's the list of CS majors who are cooked and uncooked. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. Maybe we might tell you how to stay ahead of this AI loop.
Yes.